Alright, what's up everyone? I hope you guys are doing good. Today we're going to break down my latest track called Euphoria. I hope you like this track if you listen to it, and if you did not, you need to listen to it because this track is awesome. So, let's break it down. Alright, so let's start breaking it down. So, personally, my tracks, I want to mention this real quick. They're always quite simple. There's not a lot of stuff inside of it, as you can see. I only have a total of 49 tracks, and I think there are some empty tracks in there too, so yeah, don't really mind it. So we're gonna start by breaking down the intro, and then the second intro, I'm gonna really go fast onto it, and then the last drop. I don't think there's a lot of things to break down in the first drop since it's pretty simple. I prefer breaking down the last drop because there's pretty much all the elements of the track in there. So we're gonna break down the last drop. But I'm gonna maybe talk a tiny bit of the first drop, but like really a little bit. So let's start with, I think we're gonna start basically with the structure. So I don't think I've done a breakdown before, so I'm really just, right now I'm gonna speak about the way I separate my tracks. So as you can see, there is SC triggers. So basically these are for sidechaining. I'm gonna show you that later on. I got the synth, the bass, the vocals, and the effects, the risers, the impacts, and the drums. So all of these are separated in different groups. And I did not use this section here because some of my impacts I just for some reason put them in the effects tab, which is alright, I guess, because I mean it's not too important. And there's no effects on there, as you can see, even on the risers. There's a little thing here on the risers, kept these frequencies here. But yeah, it's nothing much. So let's start with the intro. There's not a lot of stuff actually to break down in there. There's way more elements in here. That gonna be a little bit more interesting. So there's only one synth, as you can hear, and it's a I think it's quite, oh yeah, fuck. Alright, so I think it's quite a simple preset here. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. So yeah, I don't, this is not even used. Don't even like pay attention to that here. The only thing I used is literally this. It's on the sub and the filter and it's not even used. There's the FM from Hey E here, and there is some adjustments on there. Basically, there's not a lot of stuff. You can actually easily copy paste that, and there's this on the cutoff, and it's the first filter is applied on the both oscillator A and B, and that is it. Here in the mix, there's nothing important, and there's a bus here. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I think the most important is really this part here, and we get some sort of bells, which is pretty decent. In the lower, actually, that sounds pretty good. If you add a little bit more of the bass here, maybe a little bit more of the highs, that would be quite good for some dark house kind of beats. But we're just gonna keep the mids. I think I cut the highs a little too much. So yeah, it's a little pattern. Personally, I do not know my it's called scales, but like I don't know the exact word. Like we'll say scales. I don't know them by heart. So basically I'm using this over here. So this is a pretty good this is a pretty good thing they added in Ableton 12. You can basically say in what, yeah, keys, that's the word I was searching for. You can select the key your track will be in. So for me, it's A minor. And then over here, if you click highlight scale, and by the way, I think this is activated by default, and it'll highlight all the notes you can use, which is pretty useful because I don't know my keys by heart. I took piano lessons before, and I knew them by heart. But since I took a pause and then restarted making music, well then, I forgot everything, which is pretty cool. So now, well, I need to use this feature in Ableton. It's pretty cool, and as you can see, the notes are pretty simple, but it's pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much it in the intro. And then we have here, we have some Reese bass, always really simple. Yeah, by the way, I forgot to show this here. So there's a Pro Q4. I don't even know what that shit is for. Oh yeah, just to make sure there's no lows or anything. And valvular room, so that is for reverb, but it's probably, I don't know what that shit's for. It's probably automated somewhere. Not even automated, so that's literally there for no reason because the mix is all the way down, so it's not doing shit. But we don't, yeah, it's not doing shit. Now there's this over here, so we start with some Reese bass, which is pretty cool. So this is always really simple. So this here is really for a little bit of a lower note, basically. And there's 8 unison here. It's not even, I don't even think I touched the D tone a little bit. And yes, so basically there's no unisons on this one, so we really have like, it makes it a little bit more crunchy, I want to say. And on the effects tab, there's absolutely nothing. My Reese basses are always simple. And there's this over here, do not forget this here, it's set this up on always and on 219 milliseconds. So yeah, and basically this will give you the effect of the note rising up and down when it plays. So let's just arm the track so it does. So it gives you that gliding effect, which is pretty cool. And I kind of liked it. I kind of like it. And this track is completely empty. There's nothing important on this. Here's a little bass preset because it comes after the 8 first bars. So we got some cool bass. So it's this here, an envelope set up on some distortion, I think. Yes, exactly, distortion, and a gain on the lows just to give this sort of kind of kick at the beginning when the note plays. So let me just get some bass. Should be set up like this. I don't know why I put it like that, but I guess it sounds good. And I don't know why there's a little bit of reverb. I don't know why I put that there, but we barely hear it, and I guess that it adds a little something. And it doesn't really bother, so let's keep it like that. Some fresh air, because I saw a tutorial, a guy was saying it kind of boosts your 808s, so I was like, okay, let's add this up. Yeah, we can hear it a little bit. There's a little difference. It makes it a little bit stronger. And then there's this here just to make sure we have no highs because the fresh air probably adds a little bit of highs too. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the 808. It's nothing complicated, honestly. An 808 is basically just a sine wave and you distort it a little bit and you add some different effects on it to make it even crunchier. And yeah, now we have some sounds here just to add up some stuff. But this is this is, I think, the most interesting thing. That's probably one of the best element in the track. It makes it so much better. Without it, I don't know what the track would sound like, but it would definitely not sound as good as it sounds. So let me turn down all the effects before, and without all the effects, if we just click this here, just so we hear only this track, we barely hear it. So now let me add some OTT. So already we hear a little bit more. Already it sounds quite good, but I added a Pro Q4. Let me see what I did. Yeah, only for the mids. The highs are not bad though. The highs are not bad, but I really wanted to hear the mids a little bit more on this thing. And then some saturation. I mean, without the saturators, it boosts the frequencies basically, and then some Serum effects here, some delay, reverb, and EQ. I boosted the highs here. That's pretty good. And added some reverb, some more reverb. Value of the Room is awesome for reverb. It's my favorite reverb plugin. That's the only one I use, actually. I just feel like, man, it sounds so good. So that's it for the intro. Basically, there's a vocal here. Added some effects, cut the lows, a little bit of the highs, added some reverb onto it. This is automated, by the way, over here. Let's add this up there. This is automated, by the way. And then we have some delay here, a little bit. And without this here, actually, it would not even sound that good. Yeah, not bad, but, you know, like, already, the reverb makes it sound just better. Like, it just sounds better. Like, fuck off, it sounds better. So, let's keep it like that. And that's pretty much it. Except that at one point, we bring the main element of the drop, which is the bass. This, oh my god, man. This is so good. No, cut the bass always, by the way. Boosted a little bit of the highs. Sounds awesome. Some saturation, of course, and some G-clip to clip it a little bit. Always good, but that's not the most important. The most important is the preset. As you can see, got some effects, reverb, distortion, and compressor here, just to make sure it doesn't sound too loud. Then we have, it's quite simple, actually. So, I think the way I made it, let's take a look. So, this here is applied on this, and in the same, on the same envelope here, there is a sub. I think that's a sub. So, let me hear how it sounds without these elements. Wait, that's actually good. That's actually fire, dude. And then we had this up. That's pretty good. And then we had this again. Rather awesome. And oh yeah, by the way, there's no envelope on this, so we don't hear it. But like, let's just add one real quick, and let's copy the settings of this one. So let's see how it sounds. It makes it worse, I want to say. It's better like this. And that's it. And there's reverb, as you can hear. Reverb is quite important, I feel. Without the reverb, it still sounds good, but I just feel like the reverb adds, like, this sort of euphoric atmosphere in the track. Like, see, it sounds like... It sounds more dry without reverb. With the reverb, and also the reverb of a kilohertz is pretty cool. Fucking mess with that. And then basically here, it's just the So basically, copied, paste this in the drop. Pretty cool. That's, you know, quick and easy. Copy, pasted this here. So same melody we hear here. And then added some stuff over here. So this thing, post-processing here. But this is a really simple preset. And it just, let me arm it. Nope. Pretty simple. So yeah, it's a really simple drop. I'm not gonna, you know, show it much. And there's this here. This is a really cool synth. I mess with that. So honestly, my sound design I have no sound design technique, okay? I just throw stuff out there, and if it sounds good, I'm fine. I don't care. That's it. So I was like, okay, that sounds good. We'll keep it like that. And there's nothing here except cutting the lows. So yeah, it's a really simple preset. And that is pretty much it. There's a second intro. So it's the same intro, but we added this thing here, and then we have sort of a build-up. We're bringing new elements to the track. So for the new element here, we have this thing here. So it's a... It sounds awesome. And it's a really simple preset, as you can see. Tons of different saw waves, and an envelope here, and then a filter here, and then some effects here, such as delay, reverb, EQ to cut the lows, and there's no post-processing. It's a really simple preset. And then we have this here, of course, and it does it like that. So yeah, and then a little breakdown, same breakdown, but then we add up some elements such as this thing here. So it's pretty much has a Reed's bass, but a little bit more powerful. Sounds yeah, I think it's like actually it's the same preset over here, but it's just that with lower notes basically. And I did not, oh yeah, took off some effects, so there's only a compressor here. Well, OTT. And that's pretty much it. There's this thing here. And then there is this sound here. And then that is pretty much it. There's this here. And then the rebase gone for the drop. And then we have, of course, some stuff over here. So we have this here. As always, then we have this. So we have a really simple bass here. Actually, for this here, I copied the preset here. And I just turned it, as you can see, it's a copy paste of the first preset, but I turned it into a sustained bass, and I kept the exact same thing. Like, look at that. And I added some reverb, of course. The reverb, by the way, in all the elements is automated like this. So basically, if I only play it, like the reverb comes after like the sound is played, because if it was kept while the sound is playing, it would sound like awful. And in this sort of drop, you want to bring the reverb after like after the sound played, basically. Same thing here. And then is there anything else? Not really. But there's always this is kept in the second drop. Bum 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 bum. And then we have the bum 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 bum. And then the same thing here. Bum 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 bum. And then we have bum 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 bum. And then it repeats. We have two different notes in here. And then we have, and then same thing here. And then we have like that. And then over here we have some keys. Sounds pretty good. And actually, like, the way this sound is mixed to the vocal, it sounds awesome. And then we have this. And then here, like that. And then we have this. That's pretty cool too. And then we have some bass here. What is that? Yeah, that's a preset. I don't know what that. Oof. I'm not gonna explain what I did, because that's one of the preset that when I say I'm doing random shit, it's exactly what I did in here. Yeah. So I'm not gonna explain what I did. And then we have in the drop. That's pretty cool. Sounds good on its own, but make this sound, just listen to this with this thing here. And then all together, It sounds so good. And then there is the last thing for the breakdown, the drums. Drums, classic DNB drums, right? The boom. So we have two kicks, one a little higher. So these two kicks together sound quite good. So yeah, so I was like, this kick here, this kick here on its own sounds kind of, it misses something. And then, so yeah, both kicks together make it, see. And then the snare, great snare when it's on, like great snare on its own. The hi-hats, so it goes like this all the time, and we have this, and then all together, well, it's pretty cool. So on the kick here, let me just show you. So Pro Q, cut the lows, and then on this kick here, I think I wanted it, okay. So yeah, so I cut the lows on this kick here, and this CQ is kind of weird, honestly, but if it sounds good, it's good. That's it. And then snare here we have no lows. Boosted this here. It's just, yeah, you hear the difference, and yeah, that's a great EQ, by the way. I think that's a good EQ. And then some clipping. I don't know, like, I think it was like that. And then turn the sound down, of course, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So these are the drums. And now let's head to the side chaining. So side chain, I'm not breaking my head for side chain. Look at that compressor there with a shaper box. I don't know why both are there. And basically here, SC. So this is the track, the sidechain track. So all of the elements that I want to be sidechained are in this track. And I use shaper box all the time to sidechain. And basically the way it works is that I take a volume automation basically, and then I shape it the way I want. That's why it's called shaper box, by the way. I don't know, but it's probably called because of this. And then you put it on MIDI. You could put it on sync, but I put it on MIDI because I want it to kick like every time I put a MIDI trigger here. So you basically put this on SC, for example, and then automatically, since it's the only thing here, since SC only has shaper box, it automatically puts it on shaper box here, since it's the only thing I can send a signal to. So yeah, and I'm not a professional also at explaining like music stuff, but I hope like I did my bit. I'm doing my best, and I hope that you guys understand a little bit how all of this works. And yeah, so that's the end of the breakdown. This track will be available on my Patreon, so you can go out there, support me. It's pretty cheap also. It's not too expensive because, well, I was not sharing a lot of stuff. I'm gonna try to share a little bit more stuff, but for now I'm just gonna keep it a little at a low price. Yes, and thank you for watching. Don't hesitate to like and subscribe, by the way, it'll support me a lot. And we'll see each other in the next one. Peace.